Back in the winter of 2019, I had just moved to a new city for college. At 19, I was thrilled about the independence but still getting used to being on my own. My dorm was off campus, and while it wasn't too far from the main buildings, the area was a little sketchy at night. I had a part-time job that kept me out late most evenings. One night, after a particularly long shift, I decided to grab some late-night food. There was a 24-hour diner about 5 minutes from my dorm, and I'd been craving a burger all day. The diner was nearly empty when I walked in, just a waitress behind the counter and an older man sitting in the corner nursing a cup of coffee. I ordered my food to go and settled into a booth near the window to wait. As I scrolled through my phone, I noticed a man outside. He was pacing back and forth along the sidewalk, glancing into the diner every so often. His movements were jerky, almost frantic, and something about him immediately put me on edge. I tried to focus on my phone, but I couldn't shake the feeling that he was watching me. When the waitress called my name, I grabbed my food and made a beeline for the door, hoping to avoid any interaction. As I stepped outside, the man turned toward me. He was tall, with a scruffy beard and a hoodie pulled low over his face. "Hey," he called out, his voice hoarse. "You got a minute?" I shook my head without stopping. "Sorry, I'm in a rush." He stepped closer, quickening his pace to match mine. "Wait, I just need some help." Panic set in. I clutched my bag tighter and walked faster, keeping my eyes on the brightly lit street ahead. But before I could cross the intersection, I felt a hand grab my arm. I spun around, ready to scream, but before I could, the man's grip loosened. He looked past me, his face contorted in fear. "Get away from her!" a voice shouted. I turned to see the older man from the diner standing a few feet away, holding up a tire iron. His eyes were locked on my would-be attacker, who raised his hands and backed away. All right," the man muttered, retreating into the shadows. The older man stayed with me until I reached my dorm, walking a few steps behind to make sure I got there safely. When we parted ways, he gave me a small smile and said, "Always trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is." That night, I couldn't stop thinking about how differently things could have ended. If the older man hadn't been there, what would that stranger have done? I still don't know. But I do know one thing. Staying alert and trusting your instincts can save your life. So here's my advice. Be aware of your surroundings. Don't ignore that uneasy feeling in your gut. And sometimes help comes from the most unexpected places.